Hey there! Welcome to Jackie Talks Horror. I'm Jackie, and today I'm going to do a spoiler-free review of the next in my Final Destination franchise review series. The one with not one, not two, but three names. The Final Destination, and also known as Final Destination 3D and Final Destination 4. I'll be using images from IMDb and the trailer in this video just so you know. So first we get to the characters. As always, there are a fair few characters in this film, but I'll just be covering the main ones. So first up, we have Nick, played by Bobby Campo. Nick is the one that has this film's premonition. He seems like a decent guy compared to most of the other characters in this, but we don't know that much about him at all, other than he likes NASCAR racing, his girlfriend is Laurie, and he is friends with Hunt. Nick is more proactive than some past leads in trying to piece the deaths together. So next up we have Laurie, played by Chantel Van Santen, who went on to be in The Boys and For All Mankind. She's Nick's girlfriend and comes over as caring and supportive, and she takes a pretty proactive role with Nick in trying to uncover what is going on. Her best friend is Janet, and she'd love to travel, but there isn't much known about her other than that. What's interesting here is that Nick and Laurie are left to figure out everything on their own, unlike previous films where they usually had someone like Claire Rivers or Mr. Bloodworth to provide guidance. Nick and Laurie have no one to explain the situation to them. They have to work harder to piece things together and are forced to rely on themselves, which makes their struggle to cheat death feel more urgent. It adds an extra layer of isolation that the other leads didn't have to deal with, making their journey even more challenging. And next up is Hunt, played by Nick Zano. He's the annoying jock, the comic relief, bro-ish character of the group. He seems insensitive to his girlfriend Janet's feelings. His bravado feels like more of a front than anything else. Next up is Janet, played by Hayley Webb. She's Laurie's best friend, she seems nice, has a bit of a comic relief vibe about her, but she just seems to want to forget about the events and doesn't want to hear about death stalking them, which really doesn't help them when they're trying to work out how they can cheat death. Next up is George, played by Mykelti Williamson, who also played Bubba Blue in Forrest Gump, and I saw him in The Purge election year as Joe Dixon. He's the security guard at the car event in The Premonition, seems calm, rational, and probably the most likeable and realistic character in here. Overall though, this group of characters feels a lot more unlikable than in previous entries, even the ones you're supposed to root for. The characters in this film just seem meaner-spirited and not in a funny or entertaining way, which makes it harder to enjoy spending time with them. Next we come to the plot and pacing. The IMDb plot synopsis reads, "A horrifying premonition saves a young man and his friends from death during a racetrack accident, but terrible fates await them nonetheless." This movie flies by at just 1 hour and 22 minutes, the shortest in the franchise. But unfortunately, it shows. The pacing feels rushed, and there's little time to build tension or develop the characters properly, which makes it hard to care about what happens to them. Okay, and now some notes on direction and production. The Final Destination was directed and written by the same team that did Final Destination 2, David R. Ellis directing, and co-written by Jeffrey Riddick, creator of the franchise, and Eric Bress. So my problems with this film start with the premonition, which is normally the best part. This one is not really memorable to me, which is a shame, as the NASCAR racetrack feels like it would be a perfect setting for a Final Destination premonition. So many things can go wrong, and it just seems like they didn't have any imagination to make it truly amazing. They do actually try to utilise the 3D cinematography a fair bit, which is good, as some movies are 3D, but they don't make much of an effort. However, I didn't get to see it in 3D, so it did jar, as you could see when there were things that were meant to fly out at you in 3D. Every kill has some things flying out thanks to the 3D effects. Some really hit, but when they miss, it's awful. The deaths are gorier than in the previous three, but the characters are so bad and the CGI is so fake looking, you don't get to appreciate them. None of the kills are impressive, and nothing special about any of them, even though this feels like a movie that had the most kills in it. It seems to me like almost every scene had a death in it, but none of them felt meaningful, unlike in the other films. The foreshadowing in this film is blatant, overcooked, and even spoilery, and there's just no payoff in paying any attention to the movie, unlike in the first three, as in they would spell things out, like having warnings that things are flammable. Okay, so now we come to the ratings. For cinematography and soundtrack, this film gets 4 out of 5. They do a high-tech intro and start and end credits, and the start credits have a montage of memorable deaths from the previous films. I actually like that aspect, even though I wasn't watching it in 3D. The soundtrack complements the on-screen action and does a really good job at maintaining the tension. For special effects and gore, this gets 3 out of 5. The kills are as convoluted as ever, very graphic and brutal as you would expect with this franchise, but some of those special effects are awful. For characters, it gets 3 out of 5. The characters are some of the most unlikable, and that makes it hard to care about if they survive. Nick and Laurie are okay, and the guard George is nice, but that is it. Everybody else comes off as very unlikable. For enjoyment and rewatch value, this film gets 3 out of 5. As with all the films in this franchise, this is rewatchable, probably more as a background film, but in a franchise with stronger entries, at least 3 that are more fun, it's hard to justify revisiting this one. And for a personal score, this is a 3.5 out of 5-star film for me. I do enjoy watching it, but it's definitely the least fun of the franchise, and probably the one I rewatch least. So that's all for this review of The Final Destination. If you're a fan of the franchise, there's definitely some fun to be had here, but if the previous films didn't work for you, I doubt this one will change your mind. Have you seen The Final Destination? What did you think of it? Where does it stand against the others in the franchise for you? Do leave your comments down below, but remember to be respectful. And remember, this is just my opinion of the film. It would be a boring old world if we all like the same things. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe and click that bell so you won't miss what's coming next on this channel. This is Jackie signing off. Take care and see you next time.